Hi guys, welcome to new video. So today we'll take a look at the second replay that I have prepared for you as the PvP strategy demonstration, and as you can see it will be a 1v1 against Folsson. I have 5 games prepared here against Folsson, so we'll go through them in the next upcoming videos, but today we'll take a look at the first replay. As you can see, it's again 100% game speed as we had in the first replay against All-Star, and as you can see there are 2 games with Folsson that will be at 75, but these 3 are at 100%, so that will be probably also quite interesting. We can start it immediately. Once again, it's on the Dark Side Forest. I don't remember the races, but we are probably playing random, to be honest. In most of the 1v1 games, I usually play random, and the enemy also does that quite often. So let's take a look on this. I'm playing as Beast, so last time it was Empire, now it's Beast, so we have some variety, and Folsson is going as Fallen. So this is quite interesting matchup. Once again, we are across the map, same as I was with All-Star in the previous replay. Of course, this will be a little bit more interesting because Fallen has lots of pike damage on Hive Stingers, and Beast doesn't even have pike damage. It is also really countered by pike damage. Also, Beast army is really immobile, yeah, pretty slow, while Fallen is the exact opposite. Really quick army, can really quickly move around the map. Also, we see some interesting strategy here, going with the summoner out. He probably wanted to go for quick expansion while also making some harvesters here. I really don't remember this game. Maybe I didn't even know that he went for quick expansion, but now we can see it. So instant expansion, this is called the economy strategy that I showed you in the basic build orders. It was not executed perfectly, of course. He kinda went for 2 harvesters instead of 1 with that pause, but it's also a variation of that. Of course, he will have a little bit later this fortress finished. Also now he's going for a later deformer, so overall he will have much later defense, and if I actually rushed him, he would probably die here. But since I'm probably playing a little bit more defensively, even though I was probably random, and he doesn't know that I'm playing Beast, which is quite slow race, but he just risked it. He went for a little bit more economy, now even going for some wood, so he can afford that tower probably, and also Hive. But he'll be a little bit later here, everything will be a little bit later, but he'll have a little bit more resources, so he won't be that much behind. But I'm already going out with a warrior, of course, standard balanced strategy, blocking the path here with stable and arena and barons in between that. I'm just maximizing my income here, of course making warriors to scout the map, and then of course going for a goblin hut so I can start making some goblin riders. We actually see 2 hives from Folsson. This is a really unusual way to execute the economy strategy, but I'm glad that I can at least show you in a real multiplayer game something else than the balance strategy, so definitely nice that Folsson tried the instant expansion here. As you can see, it's taking me quite a long time to actually find him. I'm going to all the corners and expansions first before I actually even go here, so this was really lucky for him, and he got a ton of time here and actually opportunity to stabilize. Now he has resources, he should have started these Hive Stingers much sooner, but as I said, it's 100% speed, game speed, so it's a little bit harder. Here I found a deformer, a really random position, so I started hitting it, but I think I will eventually just retreat because I don't really care about destroying this. There will be 2 lightning spires, so this is basically no-go zone for me anymore. I could have easily went here and destroy or start killing the harvesters. Unfortunately, I didn't really do that. I was just hitting the deformer, and now he came with Hive Stingers, so I didn't really want to do anything about it. Now I found the expansion and also the lightning spire, so I know that he has resource advantage and I cannot attack this. So now I need to come up with a solution to this situation, of course. As you can see, I'm still spamming some goblin riders here, but I'm immediately also going for Dark Archer, because we have kinda 2 options here if you find something like this. You can either, or I mean we have 3 options. You can either try to rush the enemy immediately, but that gets really hard once he actually has the towers, so I would need to find it much sooner. If we spawned next to each other and I actually found it immediately, then it would be possible, but since I found it really late, it's not that easy to actually rush against the towers. Of course I could maybe rush his main town, but he also built a tower here, so Now it's almost impossible to rush him for me, so this option goes away. The second option is of course to also go for an expansion to kinda even up the resources advantage, but he would still have it sooner, the expansion, so he would have much more resources and it wouldn't probably be enough. And the last option that you can try, of course, is to just start pumping out strong units. Yeah, now I actually found out about the lightning spark. Maybe I didn't realize it before, even though they were already being built. But maybe I was looking somewhere else. As I said, it's 100% game speed, so it's a little bit harder to focus on everything at once. Now he has some population problems here, so that's also not the best thing from him. Yeah, so I'm trying the second base, but of course there are also towers, so this is also not gonna work. So I need to go away and actually go for the third option, which is spamming of stronger units, and I need to of course get to trolls so I can start destroying this. I actually am quite surprised. I didn't of course remember the game, how it went. I am quite surprised that I actually went to this position, because it's really bad. He can damage all of my goblin riders here. And he has bonus against them with pike damage. As you can see, I have pretty decent micromanagement here. I managed to move the low HP Borons behind my full HP Borons, and even though they take bonus damage from Hive Stingers, they still have ton of HP, so they were really able to survive here and kill lots of the Hive Stingers, but eventually of course all of it died, and now I lost all of my Borons and all of my population, and also all of my units. So in this situation, it might look like this is totally lost. He has two bases, he has double the income that I have. We have basically the same army. We both lost basically everything. But on top of that, I also lost my population, because I of course lost the Borons. And now I basically don't really have anything that I could defeat him with. But the thing is that the Beast army is actually pretty strong, even against the pike damage. Also now we can see once again Folsson not really doing good macro, because he's not spending his resources here too well. I don't know if he wants to go for expansion or build some buildings, but he's just not spending anything, his population resources. This is not the best move from him. He's checking for the expansion, because this is a logical thing. I tried to rush him, I failed, so I can go for expansion to even up the resources, but I didn't do any of those things. I instead just try to spend all of my resources as soon as possible, even though as you can see he has much more resources, so he still has more population. But I have a really strong army now. I have two trolls that can deal with all the towers and all of his buildings, and also deal some nice splash damage. I have of course also Witch to buff all of my units, and I also have quite a bit of Goblin Riders which have splash damage. I of course also have the Boomerang upgrade, which increases their damage and also range. Superior Boomerang from the Goblin Hut. And I don't have Weapon Master for extra damage, but I'm just trying to focus on the trolls right now. And with this I have really strong basically everything. I have splash damage, I have trolls that will actually counter the Hive Spitters that he went for. Maybe actually in this situation it would be much better for him if he just spammed max Hive Stingers. If he has a ton of hives, he has double the income, he could have just spammed ton of Hive Stingers and then tried to surround me, and he would probably kill me. Also, since he has Vile Cocoon, he could also upgrade the Metamorphosis ability and actually fly with them, drop on my villagers, on my trolls, and actually destroy me just with Hive Stingers. But he decided to go for Hive Spitters, which are really hardly countered by trolls, so this was definitely a really bad move from him. He still has more population, of course, much more resources, so it's still really hard to push for me. But the main problem here will be that he's going for Vengeance Halls and most likely Chamber of the Avenger, and he wants to make Avengers because that's the strongest unit you can make against Beast. The only counter, or I mean the strongest unit that Beast can make against Avengers is the Troll unit. But you can, if you micromanage your Avengers well, you can always shoot the Trolls with Avengers and run away without being shot, or just a little bit by the AoE circle damage, but that won't really do much. Now he's actually going for the Hive Stinger drop, but as you can see I have all of these Goblin Riders here that are dealing ton of splash damage, and they will really easily kill all the Hive Stingers immediately. Unfortunately I lost one troll here. If I maybe did the Stone Form immediately and not here, he would maybe survived, but I'm still spamming more units that are coming here. They're on their way. I have ton of trolls now ready that basically destroyed all the high spitters, and I still have enough of goblin riders to kill all the flying units that he's trying to send here. I have really good scouting also here. He actually also has a seeker. Maybe he was expecting some stalkers, no, sorry, not stalkers, striders, which is the invisible unit from the lizard fortress, because that would be also another option that I could try to maybe win this. But instead I just went for this really standard army with beast, and as you can see, even though he has double the income and also he had more population when we started fighting, I was still able to totally destroy him, because this army is really strong and it's really hard to actually counter with Fallen. Once again, same as with the All-Star, in the previous game, the multitasking here is actually pretty bad. They are not able to focus on on fighting and also producing, and he's not even fighting now, so he's not really spending his resources too well here. He's just rebuilding his buildings, his population, but he's not really producing anything. Now he went for it, but he had the resources for like a minute or something already. And I'm not saying this to shame the people or anything, but it's the fact that all the really top players are always saying that they always played with 100% speed, and why are we not doing it? And then you can see that they are not able to actually do good multitasking themselves as well with 100% speed. And this is not something against Folsson, he was not even saying that, but all the OG players like All-Star and Paber and maybe next time also Pravsha, but Pravsha was not really saying this. Yeah, but all of these old OG players that are actually really good and were probably even better in the old days, they always played with 100% and they still wanted to maintain this. But when I played against them, basically none of them was really able to do really good multitasking and actually manage their resources while fighting effectively. So I am really certain that we'll establish 75% for all the future tournaments and everything. If someone wants to play 1v1 games off stream, off tournaments, just chill games, or not chill, but just games 1v1s themselves, they can do whatever speed they want, but officially we will probably establish it on 75, because there are basically no players who would be actually able to do the multitasking with 100% effectively. So that's just something I wanted to mention here, since it was really visible in both of the games that we already saw. So yeah, basically GG here, just exchanging some last messages. Charles strong, but of course Avengers also strong, he just went for them really late. I still didn't go for a single expansion during the game, he actually went for one more here, but of course he was already dead at this point. And you saw, once again, nice balanced strategy with adjustment to the current situation. So when I found out about the expansion, I could have went different directions, but to be honest, if I went for my own expansion, it wouldn't really work, because he would just rush me with high stingers and he had double income, so it would be no problem for him. The fact that I actually tried a small rush in the beginning was actually my mistake. I wouldn't do it again probably, but it actually wasn't that bad, because I managed to do really good micromanagement there, saved up my injured Goblin Riders for quite a while and managed to kill a ton of Hive Stingers, which will be maybe harder later, so it was not that bad, but I don't think it was the best move. But of course the really important move was that then I went for a really quick Trolls and also Goblin Riders, and then I managed to push him with the perfect timing in that exact moment. If I waited longer, he would have Avengers and he would kill me. If I went too early, maybe my army wouldn't be able to actually kill him, because I needed enough of the Goblin Riders to actually kill all the flying Hive Stingers quickly enough with the splash damage, and you need at least like 8 or 10 of them to actually do that. And of course I also wanted a little bit more Trolls, so I can splash all the Hive Spitters and Towers really quickly. And of course you also want to have some Witches, so you can buff everything, or maybe even sacrifice, but that's not really used with this strategy. So let's check the results. Here we have the units, 73 kills, 24 losses. Here you can really see it. He had 50 more units basically, like half of my army more. And he still didn't really do anything here, because the fallen units were just not really ready for this. he needed different army composition and also different positioning and strategy overall. Also the largest army here, you can see that he was just fighting with me multiple times with small amounts of units, but if he actually accumulated all of it and attacked, it would maybe work better for him, because as you can see, the largest army was actually nothing too crazy from him. And also the experience, he probably had still level 1 on everything, maybe level 2 on Hive Stingers, but he probably didn't have Soldier Rifle sometime also, so that's another factor. Even though I also didn't have any leveled up units, probably maybe some trolls in the end. Then we have the buildings. Of course, I was not reconstructing anything. You don't even have to with Beast. He was making some towers there, ton of hives, rebuilding everything. And also had, of course, 2 bases. Only 1 research for each of us, so that was definitely Metamorphosis and Superior Boomerang. And he didn't, of course, destroy any of my buildings. And here we have the resources. This is probably the most interesting thing. We actually had the same amount of gems, even I had a little bit more, which is really interesting since he had 2 bases, but he was probably not even getting gems in his expansion. And I probably still started a little bit sooner in my main base to get some gems, so I don't know what he was doing there, but I was not really watching that. But I spent definitely more gems. Wood doesn't really matter, I still had 300 wood left. But he had a little bit more, and then of course gold. This is the most important thing. As you can see, he definitely had a little bit more gold. It was not twice as much, but of course when you go for the expansion, you have a little bit slower start, so you start getting resources effectively a little bit later, so then it's not like double resources, but eventually it gets to the point where he's getting it at double speed. But that didn't last long, because then I of course also destroyed the expansion, so that also kinda changed the ratio here. So yeah, this was the second game against Folsson, second replay. Next time we'll continue with the second game with Folsson that I have there. As I said, I have 5 of them prepared, and then we will of course continue with other players. So hope you learned something. You finally also saw another strategy used in the PvP, which was the economy from Folsson, and you'll see what will await us next time. Of course I don't remember it, but hopefully it will be once again something interesting. Maybe I will play Fallen. That's the one race that we didn't see yet in these replays, but we still have ton of games before us, so that should be no problem. So thanks for watching and take care, guys.